he'd just sit there and stare at the deck. Tinsley tried to ignore him by keeping busy, reading, playing cards, and cleaning his weapon. Now it was the early morning of 15 June 1944, and the ship had stopped. For Tinsley, everything seemed to have stopped. Conversation among the men was in a low tone, almost a whisper. Men standing in line could see a dark, almost shapeless form far across the water. It danced before their eyes in a reflection of bright explosions a few miles away. The artillery bombardment had already begun. Most of the men had never heard of Saipan until a few short days ago, but that was their destination. It was going to be a tough row to hoe, everyone said. Although many guys didn't sleep well the night before, they climbed aboard their landing crafts, known officially as LVTs, for Landing Vehicle Tracked, and unofficially as Amtraks, for amphibious tractors, and headed for shore. Most of the 2nd and 4th Marines had been up and reasonably alert by 0200 that morning, and soon after they sat down to the kind of breakfast that, under normal circumstances, would have been fit for a king. Sizzling steaks, eggs, bacon, ham, fresh milk, and an endless supply of juice and coffee. Tinsley ate his fill. This was a sure sign that this was it. At the stroke of 0700, all hell broke loose. Navy and Marine planes started bombing runs. Battleships opened fire with their 16-inch guns. Cruisers and destroyers kicked in with their 5-inch and 40-millimeter weapons. If a ship had a gun, it was firing at the beach. Tinsley couldn't see how anyone could possibly live through that kind of bombardment. It wasn't all that it was cracked up to be, however. As the Amtraks moved forward and approached the beach, Japanese shells started hitting the water and exploding. It had all sounded so easy on paper. The 6th Marines would take beaches Red 2 and Red 3. The 8th Marines would take beaches Green 1 and Green 2. The 23rd Marine Regiment would land on beaches designated as Blue 1 and Blue 2, and so on. The Amtrak Tinsley was in got about 100 yards from the beach, then it high-centered on a large part of the wide coral reef that lined the shoreline and started spinning around and around like a windmill. It whirled crazily, but refused to move forward. To Tinsley's right, another Amtrak was suddenly struck in the middle by Japanese artillery. At first it was there, then it wasn't. Tinsley's captain gave the order to abandon ship. The front ramp was dropped, and most of the men made a run for the front of the Amtrak and jumped into the water, which was somewhere between their neck and shoulders deep, until everyone but Tinsley and 3 other Marines were left. 2 men froze in their seats and refused to move. They were Sergeant Major Solace and Private First Class Berberick, guys Tinsley knew well, or thought he knew, and no one could drag them out of the Amtrak. Meanwhile, the Japanese artillery had the Amtrak bracketed. The next shot they fired was almost certain to be a direct hit. "There's nothing more we can do," the captain said. "We better get the hell out before we get killed." The captain and Tinsley jumped into the water and were about halfway to the beach when the Amtrak was hit and exploded into a million pieces, killing Solace and Berberick instantly. Tinsley hit the beach running and threw himself into a slight incline behind an embankment, landing beside another Marine. He yelled a half-dozen words to him before he realized the man was dead. Tinsley had lost sight of the captain, and he had no desire to hunker down with the dead Marine, so he got up and ran. Dozens of Marines, all of them dead, lay in his path. "My God," he thought, "is everyone here but me dead?" Chapter 1. Islands of Mystery. The island of Saipan was approximately 4 miles wide.